So, as I said last time, this time we shall be taking a look at the Patrolmen, and this is something that I am rather interested to see, mainly because I don't know how they're going to do. Usually I feel fairly confident of a prediction before I do these, but with the Patrolmen I'm actually not so much, because they are very different to most other heavy infantry in the sense that they're a little bit more offensive rather than defensive, and that lack of defense might count against them. But then again, most of the really good stuff we've seen so far has been two-hander infantry, so it might actually stand them in good stead. And there are more of them than the Smiths of Eregium, which I would say is the primary thing they're going after. They currently occupy the number 5 spot after all, so maybe the Patrolmen can do something about that. It will be interesting to see, I think, although I do think that in the end their lack of survivability next to the Smiths of Eregium will probably count against them in the long run. We shall see. They start off with 105, that's a pretty sizable amount of men in the unit, but they will also start to lose them a little bit more quickly, I fear. Some of them are already pretty bloody at the front there. We'll see. But yeah, recently I've been doing a few more battle replays and they've been fun to do. I want to carry that on more often. So hopefully next, I've been thinking, the last 2 times I tried Toll for Lass, it crashed, so I really want to do a full match on that map, because I really like that map. It's very well laid out, I feel. 2 losses already, so yeah, I think at this point we can safely assume the Patrolmen, their lack of armour will probably be what does them in. They should still do okay. But yes, Toll for Lass, I would like to do that scenario next, because it's a pretty good map. The bridges are buggy, but then the bridges are buggy on basically any map. It's just the nature of Third Age, I think. So that can't be helped. Speaking of the Patrolmen, they're an intriguing unit simply because they are more offensive based and yet they have a shield. It's kind of unique to Harad, and you're always going to be facing these guys as Harad, and they are pretty difficult to dislodge. If they're backed up with some of Harad's lesser units, they're difficult to get rid of. And with their attack, they do have a bit of bite to them. But survivability is something that you can exploit from them, and it doesn't look like their attack is good enough. But as I've said before, armour does seem to be the primary thing here. Oh, they're chanting. Armour does seem to be the primary thing with regards to this sort of endurance test. So, yeah, the Patrolmen probably won't do so well in terms of that, but I figured that maybe their shield would be enough to offset that, but it doesn't look like it. Still a very good unit though. Still one of Harad's more potent weapons, if used correctly. But yes, I would like to do Toll for Lass next. I'd like to do a few more scenarios as well. I do test scenarios more recently, some like unreleased maps, but I'm not going to show the replays of them purely because it doesn't really make sense to show something that isn't actually finished yet. If I show something, I'd like it to be representative of the finished product. The creators of these maps deserve that much. Like, I'm just someone that shows them. They do the real work, as it were. But yes, I shall be hopefully doing a few more battles that I can show. Again, the mid-tier infantry is something that I would like to do soon as well, although I have fallen behind on that admittedly, so that's my bad. But again, that's a little taste of what's to come. And the next unit that's going to come after this, I don't know, it might be the Sons of Argonath. I fear they might be a little too similar to the Haven Guard, but it, you know, again, the Dragon Slayers of Ered Mithrin are that as well. It will be one of those two, I assume, and either one of those I would expect to pretty easily make it onto the list. But yes, I think now we shall skip ahead until a quarter of the Orc band are dead. I do believe that the Patrolmen will at least make it to that point, and we'll see how many more they've lost from 96. Well, in true Harad style, they are ripping through these orcs pretty quickly, but they have lost a further 18 troops in the last few waves, so while they are doing a lot of damage very quickly to these orcs, they themselves are not standing up to sustained pressure all that well, all things considered, next to other heavy infantry. And this is why I didn't include them on the heavy infantry category, because they are somewhat different. But yes, this is very Harad-like. A lot of damage, but maybe not the most survivability. Harad aren't really all about endurance, they're about doing damage, and I can respect that. The Patrolmen, they still have a fair amount of men, honestly. You know, they do start off with over 100, and the vast majority of units we tried with this are high tier to the point where they have very limited numbers. Stuff like the Nazkai bodyguard from last time is an example of the opposite extreme. Very elite, but not enough. You need the right balance for this sort of thing, and it's something that the dwarves seem to have found in abundance. But the Patrolmen, I fear, you know, these slats that they're wearing as armour, not the best for sustained wounds, I fear. It actually makes sense for these guys to be as bloody as they are. But yes, I think we will rejoin when we get to the halfway point, or if the Patrolmen start to really fall apart, but I think they will at least make it to the halfway point. We shall see. The fact that balance of forces is evenly matched is starting to show up, leads me to suggest the cliff is fast approaching for the Patrolmen. They only have 39 remaining, so that's well below half their unit. But they're going to get through around half of the Orc Band stack, or Orc Fodder stack. That's not bad, considering they are a more attacking focused infantry, but you know, I always figured there was a slight chance that they could perhaps do exceptionally well. It's hard to tell, but it does look like, oh, what's that? Frame drops. But yes, it doesn't look like Harad have that. Well, at least they don't have at the moment a unit that's good at absorbing a lot of pressure. I do know that there is a unit that they have that is going to be purely defensive. Sort of a defensive Patrolman unit is going to be on the way, where they're more focused around having a very large shield rather than being a little bit more savage on the attack. Defeat is looking like more and more of a possibility for these 32 remaining Patrolmen though. They may well trigger the next wave, but it does look like they're going to fall just short of halfway. But that is still better than the Nazkai bodyguard, so that is an interesting little thing. But nowhere near the level of the Smiths of Eregion, which is probably right. I mean, I have to say I was a little surprised the Smiths of Eregion didn't claim victory, but in the end their performance was pretty solid all around. The Patrolmen are a unit which certainly have received love in Reforged. In vanilla they were always a little bit underwhelming. I feel like in vanilla they were always meant to have the same purpose that Isengard's Berserkers used to have, but they were never really anywhere near as good. But now though, the tables seem to have turned somewhat. The Patrolmen of Harad are much the superior unit to the Isengard's standard Berserkers in my opinion. Not that they don't have their place as well. They might be a little, well, I suppose they would be a similar story to this. Let's bring in the next wave. This wave is probably going to be the end of them though. I'd be very surprised if they manage to get through this next one. Mainly because there are going to be some stragglers from this wave still here. I've always liked Harad in a way. I know that they've never really been the strongest faction, but I've always kind of liked how their aggressive style can unsettle people, particularly in Reforged with the javelins, but this was the case in vanilla as well. They've always offered a curious value for money, which I've always been a big fan of. The Serpent Guard have always been good value. You've always been able to afford more of them before the cost increases. The javelins have always been good. The cavalry was probably a little better in vanilla, to be honest with you, but they still have a decent cav presence. And then of course there's always the Mumakil, although the Mumakil were better in vanilla, it must be said, mainly because they had no real counters other than ballistas, and that was always a risky proposition. The first order of business with the Mumakil would be to destroy the ballistas before they got the chance to fire. Now though, javelins will make quick work of them, and it's a very sad thing to behold. It's a lot of money you're gambling on the enemy not bringing javelins, but if you don't have javelins, the Mumakil, honestly, probably a safe bet against the elves as Harad. Even if, you know, the elves are very capable of bringing the Mumakil down, but the chaos they can cause in the elven ranks will then allow the rest of your army to do the damage that they need to. No, they may well make it through this wave actually. They've held together a little better than I'd give them credit for. But yes, I'd like to start with the faction overviews pretty soon, the definitive faction overviews. To be honest, I might make it so that the previous ones can't be viewed anymore, just because they aren't particularly relevant at all anymore. Hopefully do them. But I know that they want me to hold off until all of the factions have been added, but we'll see. I mean, I don't imagine the focus of these factions is going to change overly. You know, like Gondor are always going to be primarily defensive, the Orcs are going to be horde mentality, that sort of thing. We'll see. There's 13 Patrolmen left. They haven't fallen off the cliff all that sharply, to be honest with you. I don't think they're going to make it through this wave there. Well, they might. It's going to be close. They may well trigger the beyond halfway point. And that would be a pretty damn impressive performance for a unit which offers... is not honestly that expensive. And it's not really focused around being an enduring unit. Well, there goes the Harad General. I don't know what the situation with these guys in terms of morale would be. It's possible. Well, they're still eager, so I guess they're not going to break. Oof. It's a very savage tribal sword that they have as well. Almost with the points, it looks like they've pulled it from an animal almost and just stuck it to the end of a hill. But I guess there are more creative liberties that can be taken with the Easterlings, seeing as they weren't exactly a huge part of the movies, nor the books, if I am thinking correctly, but then I've never read the books, so yes, I'm one of those people. Yeah, they're not going to trigger the next wave. This is unfortunate, but they could still get a few more kills here at the end. It is a pretty damn... They probably have done better than the Falas Lords, honestly. Considering how much the Falas Lords cost, that's not a bad performance at all. Oh, he's getting woozy. He's getting poked to death, and he's got another kill. Still 95 remaining though. Still getting kills. There's only 3 of them left. Some officers over there. 3 remaining. These 2 over here out on the periphery. Getting poked. One of them's stun locked. The other one is not though. He's able to take them on one at a time. And he's able to kill in 1 hit. And there's only 2 remaining, so the one over there died. This is it, the last stand. They're not being stun locked either, so this is going to go pretty well for them, to be honest with you. Although now there's an Orc officer over here, he might be enough. All this damage. The Orc officer is bloodied, stun locked. Yeah, now they're getting surrounded. This is it. This is the end of days. That one in the background just got another kill. Oh, there's only 1 left. How long can he last? Can this hero trigger the next wave? I doubt it. He needs to kill 14 more. And I doubt he has the endurance to withstand being stun locked.
Victory will be ours.
Just the one. The one lone trollman. Or trollman. Singular now. Oof. He's doing a pretty good job still of cutting down individuals. I can't imagine he's going to last too much longer. And he was already bloodied up and he's being pretty effectively stun locked. Oof. Well, he's giving it a good go. 10 more kills. Can he do it? Well, he's up against an officer now. Although the officer just got slain as well. The Orcs are shaken. And he's eager. Oh, no. Oh, no, it's just a stagger. He's still fighting. Parrying. Oh, he got parried though. This is going to be it. Surely. Come on, I don't have much commentary left in me on this one, dude. Hurry up and finish him up, will you? I don't want to fast forward though. He deserves more than that. Especially he got another one. Never surrender. Blood for the blood god. Oh, is this it? Nope, another stagger. Oh, that's it. 8 short of triggering the halfway point. Well, there we go. I think it might... Was it the officer? Or was it that guy that's kneeling down? Well, the Orc fodder did pretty well, but I think the Trollmen, that's a respectable performance for a unit like the Trollmen. 1,674. That's, you know, around the same sort of level as units which cost more than it. And it's better than the Nazkai bodyguard, so I like the Patrolmen, but this maybe wasn't the best place to showcase their skills, because they aren't an endurance-based unit. But next time we will take another look at a unit which could maybe challenge for the top. I think we will do the Dragon Slayers of Harad Mithran, or Mithrin, one of the two, and then we shall do the Sons of Argonath after that. So those two, I would imagine, would be victorious. I can only imagine will be victorious and should push the Smiths and the Sons of the Fallen off the list, and then we will only have units that were victorious as part of the club. But that's for next time. You know, hopefully I'll do a Toll for Las scenario next, or some sort of scenario next I want to do. And again, there will hopefully be the mid-tier infantry at some point. Someone is asking me to do the top 10 factions as well, and I will do that, but that's similar to the faction overviews, where I will only do it when all the factions are released, because there's no sense in doing it now when there's more factions on the way, so to speak. So I hope you'll join me for the next video.